there, good looking. Welcome back to my channel. My name's TK Galoni. Around here, we just like to chat about intentional living and ways that we can improve our lives. And today I am super excited because I am tackling my first requested video. Now, this is a subject I have a lifetime's worth of experience in and still somehow have pretty much zero authority to speak on the subject. And it's something I could go on and on and on about because delaying is the main point, because why not put it off until the very last minute? That's right, today we're talking about procrastination, and in true form, it is 10:32 on Sunday night. We gotta get going. Now, if you clicked on this video hoping I have some magic advice, like the exact right list of homework that takes you to links of articles and videos that, if consumed in just the right order, will cure your procrastination for good, I have good news. The good news is today there is no homework. I will link to a few things below in the description, but I don't want to add to your to-do list with a bunch of resources that I think are worth exploring. But the bad news is, to my knowledge, there is no spell that magically cures procrastination. If there was, I would never let my kitchen look like this. Because the truth is, I am a straight up slob. I regularly put things that I know will improve my life off until it cannot be avoided. I'm lazy too. Let me show you. That has been sitting there for 3 days.
Don't tell Dan.
So as a chronic procrastinator, the only comfort I can offer you is that I think in today's world that is so obsessed with productivity, procrastination has kind of gotten a bad reputation. And I mean, sure, sometimes it is, honest to goodness, a bad thing. It can be a tool for self-sabotage or used to veil laziness. But sometimes I think we mistake much needed leisure time for procrastination. For example, I have spent hours scouring the internet for productivity hacks that will eliminate my procrastination. Now, at the time, I was definitely avoiding doing the thing that I was procrastinating on, but now that could be seen as research for this very video. So, was it procrastination? Yes, it absolutely was procrastination. But I'm not sure it was a waste of time. And that, I think, is the bigger question. So I hate to do that lame thing where you define a word, but I think in this case it is helpful. The Merriam-Webster dictionary defines procrastination as the action delaying or postponing something. And like I said, this isn't always a bad thing. Sometimes there are really excellent reasons for delaying a task or action. Like if you do not have all of the information or resources needed to complete it. Or maybe you are truly exhausted and delaying the activity to the future when you are more rested and have more energy will yield better results. Nick Vogue, Senior Associate Director at Princeton University's McGraw Center for Teaching and Learning, argues that procrastination is more of a habit or motivation than an activity. He claims it's a form of self-preservation. Essentially, his theory is that procrastination is a motive to avoid outcomes that threaten our sense of self. On the podcast, Something You Should Know, he said, "When we procrastinate, it is not always that we don't want to do the task that is ahead of us, but we are avoiding some meaning of that task. So if it's frustrating or challenging, or I feel like I can't do it, those feelings are what I'm avoiding." He goes on to say that we might procrastinate in order to avoid the possibility of poor outcomes, such as being judged as inadequate or ineffective. Or we might just be avoiding tasks that might not meet our expectations or the expectations of others. But if your house is trashed, or you have an assignment due, or you know you need to start looking for a new job but you just can't get yourself to start working on your resume, the only option is to bite the bullet and start. And I promise, if you clicked on this video because you are feeling guilty about something you are procrastinating on, you are going to feel so much better when you get that thing that is hanging over your head out of the way. And so far, I'm sure this video hasn't done much to motivate you to hit that deadline. But since I'm not a true authority on this subject, I am going to have to cite some folks that are a little bit smarter than I am. But I do not want you to feel like you have to click on every link in the description unless you are genuinely curious and have some magic surplus of time. Okay, so the first idea surrounding procrastination that I'd like to discuss is the idea that it is a lack of respect for your future self. Point blank, you're leaving a mess for them to clean up, and you aren't setting them up for success because your current self doesn't have the courage or motivation or energy to get whatever it is done. There is some research that indicates people who have a weak sense of self and like a lack of an attachment to themselves in the future are at higher risk for procrastination than somebody who has a strong sense of self and a solid idea of who they want to be and who they will be in the future. In her essay Procrastination and the Personal Identity for Oxford University Press, Christine Tapley argues that procrastination might not be a total detachment from your sense of self, but maybe just a break in that continuity. She wrote, "There might be alternative explanations for some procrastinators' behavior. Instead of lacking concern for her future self, she might have a concern for them that is overridden by some other concern, such as a stronger concern for her present self." She went on to say, if the future selves regularly lose the present self, the conclusion to draw it would seem is that real concern for the future selves is lacking. My point is figuring out which self that you are honoring with your current procrastination could be a huge tool in breaking that cycle. Or maybe it's simply a fear of failure keeping you from getting started. Perfectionism tends to pair wonderfully with procrastination, and maybe you are avoiding that task so you can hold on to that perfect idea. If that is the case, then I challenge you to decide what is more valuable to you, that perfect idea that isn't possible in the first place, or is it the joy and pride you'll feel when you actually accomplish something you set out to do? Which brings me to my last thought on procrastination, and that has to do with comparison. I know I've gotten into a deep cycle of delaying work or housekeeping or journaling or even just self-care because I didn't think I could do it as well as someone else. Not only is this ridiculous and wildly unhealthy, I recently realized there are lots of forms of procrastination, and the absence of avoidance does not equal productivity. Just because your coworker is actually sitting at their desk and not scrolling through Instagram doesn't mean that they are getting more done than you. We are all individuals and need to make choices and decisions that work best for us. But I don't think staring at your computer for 20 minutes, hoping the email that you need to write just manifests out of nowhere instead of like standing up and going for a walk, is a better use of your time. So in honor of getting shit done, here's a time lapse of me deep cleaning that out of control kitchen of mine. Is what you're doing instead of the thing you're procrastinating on really filling you up? Are you feeling rested and recharged afterwards, or is it draining you? Are you just scrolling through photos on the internet and then left feeling inferior? I think these are all questions that can help curb your procrastination. And before I leave, I just want you to know that I believe in you. You can set out to accomplish whatever it is you put your mind to. And if you found this helpful, please let me know by hitting that like button. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any videos that I put out on most Mondays. And since I'm now taking requests for topics, feel free to let me know if there's something you'd like me to cover in the comments below. I'm also totally open to collaborating. My name's TK. Thank you so much again for your time and attention. And now that this video is over, you really should go do that thing that you've been avoiding. Love you.